Good afternoon, Periscope. This is EnvyThisStuff@gmail.com. My Twitter's EnvyThisStuff, my eBay's EnvyThisStuff, my Periscope's EnvyThisStuff, and my website used to be EnvyThisStuff. Why is that so? Because you envy this stuff. Hello, DK Coco. How do you say that? I'm not sure, but it sounds cool. If people caught my scope about an hour or two ago, I was coming into Manhattan to have a meeting with the distributor. And one of the things that's true about talking to myself on the way here is that I need to talk to myself on the way home as well. So I figured, why don't I scope a bit about maybe what I just did and show you what I just got. Hello, Aces. And show you a bit about what I just got, because over the years, and especially since I've been scoping, people keep asking me, and I keep saying, where do you get your products from? How much money do you need? Blah, 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 blah. So I figure we might as well throw around some things. This could be a Q&A. It's not so much me telling you anything. Again, I'm just trying to get home. I have about an hour and a half drive to get home. I'm stuck in Manhattan. I have to get to Queens. So I figured I might as well tell you, I just visited a distributor. So if there's any questions or whatever. In the meantime, I can show you some of the stuff I just got. Welcome, everybody. If you're replayers, please follow me. One of the things that I sell is designer earbuds. A lot of people can get access to these kind of earpod style earbuds, but they can only mainly get it in black and white, and it goes up to another level, which is other people can also get them in other colors. I can get them as well. These are a little more unique. Okay, so the reason I do this, I go to some electronic wholesalers here. So that's one of the items. And the reason I get these over the other ones is, especially on eBay, I can charge triple and double and quadruple the amount of money. I'm going through a tunnel underneath 42nd Street right now, people. So give me 1 second, and we'll get light in a second. Actually, you know what? I'll flip this, because I'm going in a tunnel. On the other side is going to be Grand Central. So this is Grand Central Station. We're in Midtown Manhattan. I'm literally at 34th Street? Or am I at 42nd? I'm at 42nd Street, I think. Yeah. So that's what Grand Central is. We have taxis all over the place. And there's a wild turn here past this Hyatt. So I'm literally on top of Grand Central Station right now. All right. So the reason I get those earbuds on top of the generic colors is that I pay the same price for them all. But on eBay, or let's say the flea market, I could charge $5 for them. On eBay, I can charge up to $15. Okay, and that's pure profit. The shipping on an earbud like that is you want to have the bread and butter items that people want, like a black and white earbud, but you also want things that separate you from the other vendors, both at a flea market and on eBay. So I have that in black and white. Where's the black one? There it is. And again, they're extra thick. The wire inside is a thicker gauge. They're longer. Lots of people like to use these in bed. I mainly get these in black and white because it's hard to get other colors, but it comes in other colors like pink and all the other colors too. So that's that. Lots of people still like to use FM transmitters for your car radio. You tune this in, so I always carry these. I think it's ancient technology, and I actually think the technology sucks, but people want them. People still want the cassette, the little things you put in your cassette and you plug into your iPod and iPhone. They still want those. In fact, they want them in droves even. So sometimes you think you need the latest and greatest, and I end up selling a lot of those cassette things. I don't do Amazon at the moment only because I'm too busy. I have a long life story, but I got back into eBay in January. I never quite left eBay, but I left eBay about 2 years ago, and I'm definitely going to go back in. I'm going to get back into all of them because each one by itself is another cash cow. Even with the same merch, it doesn't have to be different merch. Although there are differences between eBay and Amazon and some of the other people. This here, these are little tiny cables. What I do with this, I get this, I think it's $2.50. I break all these open. In fact, I almost never sell things in bubble packages. I almost always sell at bulk, both in the flea markets and on eBay. Anyway, I break these up. This cost me $2.50 for these 4 things. And I sell them each for like $2 each. So I get 2, 4, 6, 8. How many cables do I get at a time? It depends who I'm getting them from. I could get 10,000 cables. Today I got about 200. I also do stuff directly with China. So I get shipments with that through DHL Express. So that helps out a lot. Again, we're talking about sourcing new stuff, not used stuff. And I used to do it 100% from China. But there were too many issues, too many problems. And now I do it about 50-50 because we have a fantastic port here at the New York Harbor, and lots of merchandise passes through here. You're near Philly, so you should know that. Lots of stuff in North New Jersey and mid Jersey, lots of container ship stuff, and lots of ways to source things. So I still get some of my bread and butter stuff. I still get 7 different sources of income for sure. And you can keep expanding and expanding and expanding. There's lots of different ways, including with the same merch. So in some markets, like Amazon's a little more formal than eBay. So when I get back into those packages sell for like 15. Yes, they do. And that's the cool part of it. So I have different pricing. I have different pricing from when I sell in the flea market. In fact, I have different prices across different flea markets. But I have different prices, generally speaking, with the flea markets versus selling on eBay. First of all, on eBay, if you send an empty package, it's costing you $2.60. Then there's the eBay fee, the PayPal fee, and the cost of the bag and so on. So there's like a $4 upfront cost if you ship an empty bag from eBay. So whatever you're getting something for, if you get something for a penny, you got to charge $4 for it minimum, right? If you want to ship somebody New York City air, then you're going to be doing that. So a cable that I might sell for $2 at the flea market, I might be selling for 10 or something on eBay. I also got these little things. I have good luck with these. This is a new style, a little transistor radio. Lots of older men seem to like these, especially at the flea market. I don't sell these on eBay just because I never got the time to do it. They may sell well. I never even looked into it to see if it made sense. I'm just too busy at the moment. But eventually I'm going to do that. I got more listings up this year than I possibly planned for, and I'm feeling super healthy. So as long as I'm doing that, it's something that I'll pursue. I also sell lots of mini speakers. Now this is bigger than a mini speaker. I sell lots of Bluetooth speakers. So this is like it's hollow in the center so that it creates like a subwoofer effect. I'm going to try that speaker out and see how that works. What I'm probably going to do is I think I'm going to go to Columbus tomorrow and play around with it there, see exactly how loud it is. I'm not pleased with how loud it is. I think it should be louder, but people want something different. I find when I do so many markets consistently that whoever was going to buy my Bluetooth speakers over 2 years mostly already did so. And it's always worth clearing out your product lines and seeing what's new, and make sure you're keeping abreast with it all. So I'm going to try that out, because even though I do little speakers, I also do, $100 speakers and so on. That speaker cost me like $35, and what I'll do is try to probably sell it around 80, and people are going to negotiate me down probably to 70 or 65, and I'll take that. So if I can go from 35 to 65, that's wonderful. There's nothing more you can ask for. What I'll probably do with this speaker, instead of getting like 10 or 20 or 50 at a time, I'll just play it by ear. No pun intended. Play it by ear and see how I can sell it. So that's pretty much what I got today. I have stuff packed in the car already, obviously, but that's the 5 or 6 things I got. So if anybody has any questions about getting your own products, or what to do, or how to negotiate, or how to work with distributors, I'm lucky in the sense that I live in New York City, so we have a lot of industrial areas in Brooklyn and in Queens, and even in Manhattan. Everybody likes to think Manhattan is just packed with skyscrapers. Actually, a lot of Manhattan has no skyscrapers at all. Lots of people live in Manhattan, including in regular homes, even though lots is in apartment buildings and skyriser buildings and so on. So we do have, just because of the population, as I said this, all the container ships come into New York Harbor. Not going to New York, but they're going to New Jersey, so we have lots of trucks going back and forth, bringing us merchandise and so on. And there's lots of little wholesale centers and things like that through the city. Not too many, but enough. Which creates a minor sourcing problem. That creates a minor sourcing problem because now it becomes easier for your competitors to get what you're getting. So you always have to be sharp, keep trying to figure out what's going on. How can you one-up them? How can you get another product? How can you get the distributor to give you the product months before anybody else gets it? So you can corner that market, and you can do the corner that market twice. So the first way to corner the market is to get the product in the first place and be the first one with it, right? Often the key to something is just to be unique. So you're going to get this different product than anybody else has. So you're going to be able to sell it for a couple of months before anybody else does. When it finally catches on, right? Because you can sell it before anybody else does, your price can be higher. So when everybody else finally gets it, you can lower your price and still remain competitive because people already knew you had it, and they're going to be coming back to you. You want to have repeat customers and things like that. So it's a pretty cool situation. Welcome people joining. I'm EnvyThisStuff@gmail.com. If you catch us on the replay, please follow me. Remember, you can still do an invite when you're on the replay. You can invite Twitter people. Of course, if you're live, you can invite now. You can follow me now. You can give me hearts now. Right? So we're talking about sourcing stuff, in particular small electronics, although I've sold other things as well. So if anybody has any questions for me about that, any good online wholesalers? I don't really use online wholesalers, so I can't answer that. What I can say is I use online wholesalers to research, though. A lot of them are scam sites. It's a very cautious situation. One of the bad things about dealing with, say, China is it's so far away. Even when they're honest. I have a very reliable factory and distributor in China, and I'm very, very pleased with them, but stuff still goes wrong. They could send me the wrong color. You know, what do you do if you ordered 1,000 cables of black and it all comes in yellow, right? Right. Well, there's the issue of the language barrier too, but I'm talking about even when things go perfectly. At least on the distributor side, things can still screw up. Or like you get a shipment with 5 boxes in it and only 3 arrive. Or it's not something, it's easy to say you can return it, but you have to remember shipping back to China, especially from the U.S., is a lot more expensive. What I do now actually is when I get shipments from China is I wait for it to get on the plane, I almost always use, I'm not talking about buying a sample, and I'm not talking about buying 10 or 20 or something. I'm talking about buying like 1,000 cables. Remember, 1,000 cables can fit in a small box. Most of what I do is in bulk. I don't like boxes and things like that. First of all, it bumps up the price, and the way I sell stuff is I don't need boxes. I do sell stuff that I do want boxes for, but a lot of things like regular cables, I don't want a box. It's going to add to the weight when I ship it out, and it's going to add to the weight when it comes to me, and it's going to make it harder for the factory and so on to pack it up. Now that said, a pretty box can help you sell a product better. Okay, so there's that. But I go and pick my stuff up from DHL now. Again, I'm lucky I live in New York City. DHL currently is located at JFK Airport, and I'm a few miles from JFK Airport. So when I know that the thing is left on the plane, I call up DHL and tell them to hold it. And they know who I am. They know who I am already. And I found a very important thing to do is to use your 9-digit zip code. When a package is lost on any carrier, your 9-digit zip code is very important. The reason it's important is they can almost always isolate the package. In my case, my 9-digit zip code is my block, my New York City block. Yes. I can't tell you how screwed up that got. One time, the guy at DHL told me that. He was like, "We can't find your package. There was something like some crazy number, right? I just live in a residential area of New York City. There's businesses and all that other stuff too, but technically I'm in a residential area. It's not the suburbs, but it's definitely urban. So don't get me wrong. But so it turns out because it's so densely populated that the 9-digit zip code is a key, and they had lost a package of mine. And I was like, they were like, "What's your zip code?" And I gave it. And silly me thinking, well, nobody else in my zip code is ordering anything from China. I mean, who does that? Aren't we doing something very unique? And he was like, "Sir, there's 10,000 packages." And I was like, "How could it be 10,000 packages?" And he gave me the exact number. It was like 9,000 something or whatever. My zip code is like, I think like 1 square mile. Yeah, silly rabbit indeed. It was like 1 square mile big. And I'm like, 10,000 packages from my neighbors? That kind of a thing. So he's like, if you ever get in this problem again, use your 9-digit zip code. Okay? So now that you know that tip, there's a second tip. The second tip is that when you order from China, they don't know how to put in the 9-digit zip code. Because most of their order entry systems and their data stuff to do the shipping of the labels and so on their side, I don't have no idea what to use, but most of them just assume it can only be a 5-digit zip code. And this is true even if you're doing AliExpress and Alibaba and all that stuff. So when I order something, they either know already, or I send them a follow-up email or follow-up message saying you had better use the 9-digit zip code. And that way you can avoid the whole thing twice. So the key isn't just tell them to use a 9-digit, insist they use it. And if they say there's no way to put it, insist there is a place to put it, even if they handwrite it. Although most of it's electronic now. A lot of the companies are well automated in generating the labels, including the custom stuff and so on. And that's one reason why I go through DHL as well. You also want to make sure they use good, strong boxes. What's the furthest I go for flea markets? Like 125 miles. So I'm near JFK Airport. If anybody wants to go on Google Maps or whatever, and just draw a circle around it. So that basically gets me almost to the tip of New Jersey. If it's almost a straight line. I don't know if people realize, too, that New York City is actually pretty big. If I go from the eastmost point of Queens to the westmost point of Staten Island, I'm going 40 plus miles. So that's pretty large. Somebody just bumped into me. I'm trying to get onto the 59th Street Bridge, also known as the Queensboro Bridge, also known as the Ed Koch Bridge. He was one of our past mayors. So that's a tidbit for when you're getting shipped straight from China, no matter who it's from. They just hit you? Yeah. So, you know what I did? I just kept driving. I don't think there's any damage. My car at this point, I think, is 10 years old. I have 106,000 miles, and it's been through everything. So there's probably a dent where he hit me already. We're New Yorkers. We got thick skin, bro. Yes, the boxes are a problem. So now my main distributor knows they have to use like an extra thick box that normally like a TV comes in. It's amazing how some of the boxes can get crushed up. Sometimes you could swear that the people are throwing the boxes off a roof or something on purpose, just to fool around. And I also request that they pack the box themselves, whoever the person is, and that they put things in sensible places. Like if I'm getting speakers that have plastic in them, put them in the center of the box. The cables don't really get destroyed. So line the cables at the bottom and put the speakers on top of it or something. Right, don't handle lightly. Yeah, kind of the problem is DHL has nice deals for the Chinese shippers, quite often in fact. But it means packing these super huge boxes sometimes. So it can get screwed up. So there were times if I bought like 100 mini Bluetooth speakers, 30 of them were their boxes were smashed up. So, and bubble wrap doesn't help. When the vertex corner or whatever you call it, when the corner where all the 9-degree angles meet, when that gets bobbed down, everything's crushed. And then if it happens 2 or 3 times, the box tends to start getting a spherical shape. So it's whacked out. Although that said, it's good that most Chinese shippers are going to tape over your whole box. It doesn't always help because I've gotten a lot of boxes with a hand punch through it, and so a small amount of the merch removed. You could argue that's customs. I don't know, and that's another reason to use to insist that the shipper use a reasonable box, because customs will sometimes open up your box. From the top. They'll use a knife, it'll be all clean, but they won't seal it back properly. So sometimes your box is pretty flimsy at the end, either from being tossed around by the monkeys or by customs opening it and not sealing it properly. And they might take something out from the middle and not package it back up. So your vendor, your distributor, your factory should be aware of those things too. And this is stuff you learn over years and years of doing this. It screws up once, you're like, what? It screws up twice, then you're like, no. I can't order, $2,000 worth of something, and 10% or 20% is no good. And I don't want to put that on my clearance table. And then there's the issue of no, I'm talking about anybody doing boxing or whatever is a monkey. Yeah, we're going over the 59th Street Bridge, going back to Queens. Right. My reference was to people who work at shipping companies, not to Chinese people.